Welcome back to another episode of the Home and Beyond Kootenay Conversations podcast. I'm super excited today to have not only a business leader, but a fellow realtor on the conversation with me today. She's a mother. She's a Hall of Fame RE/MAX realtor. She's built an amazing real estate career. And beyond that, she's a city councilor, deeply involved in the community, and is looking forward to the conversation today. So, Thea Hanson, good to have you here on the podcast with us.
Thank you, Nathan. Thank you so much for having me. I'm honored to be asked to be here with you.
So, tell us about yourself. You're not originally from the area, correct?
No.
What's your story?
I moved here about 16 years ago. I was started up north in real estate in Williams Lake, but my family was here. So opportunity came for me to be able to move back, and I convinced Tom Garlitz to let me start in at RE/MAX here, where I started at RE/MAX in Williams Lake, and have been here ever since.
Yeah. And we just got back from the RE/MAX convention in Las Vegas. And to keep with our tradition of having a slushie at the beginning of the podcast, we have some tropical mango pineapple smoothie.
Tropical slushies, thinking about that sun in Vegas.
Right, rather be in Vegas than here in the cold, but the weather's not too bad. So.
You need to get me that recipe. It's fabulous.
That's just straight juice.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite because it's so easy. You just pour it into the machine and you're good to go.
Well, thank you.
So, I've had another realtor on here. I don't want to get too much into the real estate stuff in this podcast because, Jake and I went through numbers and things like that. Don't want to bore the people with the same conversation.
For sure.
For you, the interesting part of your career and where you are now is the fact that, you are a councilor with the City of Trail.
I am.
Right? So, what led you to want to do that? How was that process? How do you balance that with what you do as a real estate agent being a full-time job?
Right. So, you know what? I had been volunteering on so many different boards, more hours than I'm currently putting in with my portfolio as a councilor now, just because I wanted to make a difference in our community. I saw a real need for volunteerism where, the demographic in our community is changing, and It's really important that we have really great representation for the future, not of how things have always been, but for looking forward to what we can make the community. And so I really struggled with it for a while. I had a lot of people going, well, do you really want to do that? Do you really want to do that? And I just kind of said, you know what? If I'm going to leave a legacy for my children, I am going to say that I have been able to contribute to making something happen in our community because I'm not originally from here, right? So when I decided to run, it was great. I had some really great support, and luckily the community said, yeah, we like you and we want you to represent us. So I'm pretty proud of that.
That's awesome. And I know that, the community as a whole has gone through some changes since this new council has come into play. What's the growth and the change and the exciting parts that you've kind of seen in being able to kind of work from behind the scenes that you're kind of most proud of since you've gotten in as a councilor? Yeah,
so our average age on council was quite senior prior to this last election, and now our demographic is there's 4 of us under 50 business people. Prior to that, it was a lot of retirees. So just coming from a different perspective. So we now have a varying group, a very dynamic group of counselors that all have different backgrounds and different opinions on things, coming from different roles in our day-to-day lives. What I'm really thrilled to see is that, I'm actually on the OCP committee, so the official community plan, which we are working through kind of the last leg of the journey right now. It hasn't been updated in 22 years. So that is super exciting. Another thing that we've done is since the city acquired the airport, it was built and then there was a committee, but it got disbanded. So in the last year, we've actually rejuvenated that committee, and we're looking at opportunities for growth and doing a brand new master plan, which I am the chair of the airport committee. So really looking at opportunities to grow our economic development in the area and the reliability of being the regional hub in the community. Some of the other really cool things that's happening is that, I'm not sure if everybody's seen that the RFPs have gone out for the demolition of 2 very old derelict buildings in downtown Trail.
Yeah, and we've seen a few instances of that. I mean, with the old Union Hotel that dropped, and it's good to see that Trail is striving to make some of those changes to get the old buildings that aren't being utilized to really advance.
Well, and the thing is that we have such a shortage of housing here, right? Every community has a massive shortage of housing, and what an incredible opportunity to bring a new build, new construction, new commercial, residential, whatever that might look like. And we're very much in the infancies of investigating what those steps look like. But we're really excited just to see the opportunity for growth in our downtown core. Because if we see people in our downtown core, our downtown is going to be busier. There's going to be less, undesirable kind of things going on with more people. There's going to be businesses open later, right? Like, it's just one thing kind of breeds multiple things for a better and more vibrant downtown.
And I know that, you spoke a little bit to the lack of housing and things like that. And that kind of led into another question that I had about the zoning changes that are coming as a mandate from the provincial government. It's not just an issue for us here in Trail and the Kootenays, it's a province-wide issue. So the provincial government has come down with a mandate to kind of open up zoning to allow for secondary suites. Is that something that you can talk to about, or is that tucked in the back pocket still?
No, that actually, that has already happened.
That's already happened.
I have been, I participated in all of the small-scale multi-unit housing workshops put on by the province, kind of in my role with housing. It's kind of my expertise at the table. So I definitely attended all of the workshops, and we actually amended our zoning bylaw in late June. So the zoning now has changed. So for the small scale multi-unit housing, depending on the size of your lot, you can have up to 3 units on most lots and up to 6 units on really big lots. So that is an actual zoning change, not so much a city change, it's a legislation, but I'm so glad to see it because, you and I know there's so many, suites that have been there for ages and ages.
Totally.
That we were trying to sell that were unauthorized accommodation.
Yeah, or grandfathered in.
Exactly.
Caused all sorts
legal
of
non-conforming.
Insurance issues that arose from it. So this helps solves that for some of those homeowners.
Totally. And the thing with it is that, while you still have to go through the process to make sure it's done properly, get your permits to the regional district for safety and all of that, I'm just really happy to see people taking advantage of that. There's also was some BC Housing grant funding for people that wanted to do secondary suites.
Yep.
That they were actually given some money if they were able to meet some restrictions and keep it below market rents for a while.
Yep.
I'm not sure if that's still valid right now, but that was something that they were offering to incentivize people to build suites.
And I had a number of clients, I'm sure you did as well, that were actually pursuing those grants and looking at them as a benefit when they were purchasing a property that had potential for these suites.
Absolutely. So, while we haven't seen a ton of it yet, I was just talking to our general manager of general services there, and she said to me just yesterday, Tia, we've seen a huge uptake in permit applications.
Yeah.
So that's exciting to see, which hopefully will then allow for, cost of building to go down. The more we build, the more we need those trades, the more our cost of building should follow with having more subtrades available for more demand.
Right.
So fingers crossed that happens, because that will make it easier for everybody.
Yeah. So, obviously your 2 hats are city councilor, real estate agent. The third hat is mother. We'll get to that in a minute. But with your first 2 hats there, do you feel how do you feel like the real estate side of thing is affecting like the economic growth of Trail? It seems like we're growing. We're seeing new businesses. We're seeing people who want to come here, and we're seeing people who are buying properties and businesses to really expand, kind of our community. Is that what you're noticing as well?
Yeah, we're definitely seeing a migration of working individuals, young families that they don't want to pay $1 million for a house in Vancouver. They don't want to pay $1 million for a house in Kelowna.
Yeah.
For $500,000, you can get a great renovated house in trail, on a safe street, close to a school. So we have seen a ton of that. I can say, my last 2 years, 30 to 40% of my business has been from referrals from outside areas, agents reaching out to me to bring their clients into the area. So a lot of that business is people coming in from out of town. We're affordable. We have Red Mountain. Where can you drive to a ski hill within 15 minutes?
Yeah, it's crazy our proximity to a world-class ski hill.
Like one of the top in North America.
Right? Like you could live out in Salmo and you got the Bunny Hill 10 minutes away. It's a T-bar. It's not the same, right?
No, but we have lots of options here, which is great.
Absolutely.
One of the gentlemen that I actually work with on the Downtown Trail Improvement Committee, he's a planner. So he actually helped build Whistler. And he said to me, Tia, he goes, I find it so funny that people, think of Roslyn, and Red Mountain as being, somewhat far away. He goes, I live in Whistler and it takes me more time to get to the ski hill in Whistler than from my house in Oasis. So he's like, people need to realize, like, this is great. I can see, and with all the stuff that Red is doing, I think we're going to see just a boom as a whole that's going to flow out, not just in Roslyn, but in all of these areas. Because, trail's the regional hub for everything.
Totally.
So, if you want to pay less taxes, but go skiing every day, you can live in trail very easily. Yeah. Right? So there's so many opportunities here for people, and I do think the growth is coming.
Yeah. And so with that growth, which is obviously very exciting, how do you feel, like, what's the future outlook from your perspective at this moment? Obviously, the future is always changing and things will adjust. But do you continue to see this growth happening? Do you see big changes coming down the road or anything like that in the community? Or
I think what we are looking at now, a bigger growth plan, because we are seeing that migration. While we're doing the OCP, we're looking at kind of what does 10 years, 5 years, 20 years look like.
Right.
And while we may not see a huge uptake, we're definitely going to get people coming here because of affordability. And while, some locals may not think it's as affordable, as it once was, everything changes in time, and we're being found. Yeah. We have great hospitals, we have great jobs, you can mountain bike, you can water ski, you can golf, you have all the amenities, in Glen Mary, you've got a brand spanking new state-of-the-art elementary school. Yep. Our hospital, like, oh my goodness, what's going on there? Brand new MRI, there's upgrading, they're doing so much with their, the health foundation there. Our hospital is just booming, so we are seeing growth from people coming from out of their areas just for work and affordability for sure.
That's awesome. So, as I discussed with Jake, and every realtor in our office is super involved with our community, right? You're obviously involved with the community through the city council as well. Yep. So, Trail's close-knit, right? Like, we're a small town, everybody knows everybody, we all want to get involved, but what's like the community event that you've seen kind of everybody come together and really feel like is that exciting thing that maybe we've been lacking, or you're just excited to see the change over? You know what,
I am just thrilled to see some of the outdoor things that we have going on. So, for example, since COVID, we didn't do Silver City Days, right? But Silver City Days for the last 2 years has been back and better than it's ever been. Like, growing, changing, new things, new events, engagement events. They had an art wall that they had people paint at Gyro Park as part of Silver City Days. The other thing that's really cool is we did our downtown Santa Parade for the last couple of years. Again, since COVID, it was moved out to Gyro. But the businesses really felt like they weren't, they wanted to stay open later. They wanted stuff downtown. Right. And so we were able to pull off this incredible Santa Parade this year with a tree light up, and we had donations and volunteers doing hot chocolate and hot dogs. And we were talking about different ideas for next year and doing, more light up and doing it like a longer light up thing. And so there's different ideas, and the energy with the business community and the people participating. Yeah. People are like, this is amazing. This is great. Thank you. Yeah. And the public is just seeing the change, right? The energy behind council, the energy in the community. we had a lot of, negativity in regards to homelessness. Unfortunately, every community is facing homelessness.
Totally.
And while there isn't ever a perfect place to put a homeless shelter, unfortunately, the place that was kind of the best of, not any real great situations, has really seen a change in our downtown core, and people are really embracing that.
Yeah.
So, you go to a hockey game now, people are downtown, they're walking, it's busy, there's all the restaurants are open, places are open on Sundays, which were never open on Sundays before. So I'm just thinking, like, as a whole, the businesses in the community are just supporting trail and being part of this community.
Yeah, and it's great to see.
Take the hockey games, for example. Like, they are packed every single, they went on like a 15-game winning streak. That's the kind of community you want. People are like, hey, let's go. Like, this is the thing to do. And I think the community generally and the businesses are all seeing that on multiple levels. Yeah,
and it's great in the small towns how, when one thing starts going good, everybody jumps on the bandwagon. Everybody's there to help everybody else. And like you said, the hockey, like, they went on their win streak. Well, I was at a curling bonspiel in Fruitvale when the Smoke Eaters were playing, and everyone's all like, did the Smokies win tonight? What's the score? Like, what's going on? Like, even the people who can't be there because of other commitments, right? They're attached, they're invested in that community event, that community activity, and really, everybody's all in with supporting everything. Yeah. Right? We're super family friendly. Like, there's everything all across the Kootenays here for families, from outside activities to sport activities and everything like that. And you are a mother to 2 rambunctious children yourself, for lack of a better word.
Yes.
How... I obviously don't have children.
You have fur babies.
I have fur babies, right? And they're a little bit different. I just put them in the backyard sometimes when I need the break.
So do I.
But what do you love so much about raising your family in the area? And then how, with your business being one of the busiest realtors in the area, how do you balance that family and the work life to really, keep everything cohesive? Obviously, you have a great, solid husband who's always got your back 100% of the time, but there's got to be a secret here somewhere. So what is it?
What's the secret sauce? Yes. So I've Hunter and Axel. So Axel will be 6 in May, and Hunter turns 8 at the end of this month. Talk about balancing act. Yesterday, in the middle of my day, I found out that their bus had gotten canceled for their afternoon bus because they had a shortage of bus drivers. So,
oh, nice.
The one thing that is great about this job is that I pivoted and I didn't have an appointment, so I was able to pick up my kids from school and drop them off at after school care during that window. So what a great benefit to being in this role. But our kids are involved in everything, but like you said, it's a tight-knit community. And so I suppose, other than me having a fabulous husband and like best dad ever, we have like a village, like I jokingly call like our block our village. But if I'm going to be running late from an appointment, I know there's a mom that'll take Hunter home from dance, or there's, a mom that she's off on Mondays, so she gets both of our daughters who dance together to dance on Monday afternoons. We have just this great community of people that, hey, something's happened, can you guys help me out? We've got family here, which is great. Like, my husband's mom's here, my parents are here. I have, with work stuff, I have a great team. I've got my executive assistant, who is also my mother, and, my best friend who has kids the same age as mine. Like, they grew up together. Yeah. That's how we kind of became friends. And she does all of our social media and admin stuff for us. Yeah. So it's really nice because we tag out stuff like, hey, you know what? Jess, can you grab the kids because I got this, and can you, whatever, no problem. Maggie's booking appointments while I'm out doing something else, or I'm at a council meeting and, she's setting up showings or, inputting information for a listing for me. Yep. So we just have like a really incredible team. It takes like when they say it takes a village in this role, it takes a village.
Yeah, you're able to tag team some of those stressful situations where it makes them manageable so you can still, involve yourself in your children's lives, because that's definitely the most important part of your day, I'm sure, is spending time with your kids and being involved in their lives.
Oh, you know what? I am like the yelly hockey mom that's so excited when every kid scores. It doesn't matter what's kid on which team, but I'm just super, I'm watching that. And then my daughter's got a big dance festival next weekend, so I've already got programmed how many wardrobe changes, hair things, or whatever. So I know that window on, next weekend.
Yeah.
I am mumming and dancing and doing all the things. But you know what? It's they're my life.
Yeah.
But I want them to grow up knowing that they are raised to make a difference in their community. And so they are fully supportive. Like, they know when I got a council meeting, they're like, okay, Mom, see you after dinner, or when I've got showings, I've had times where I've taken my kids with me because that's what happened. And,
a couple more years, you're going to have a third assistant, because Hunter's going to be just right on in there like a dirty shirt.
Every time I'm like, hey, I got to do a video, she's like, can I do it? So, you might start seeing Hunter doing videos of the listings coming up, but, and then Axel wanting to help me put signs in, right? Like, I think it's really important in this role, with real estate, to involve your kids, because they get the benefits of being able to have, the flexibility with our jobs, but also, that you have to work hard. And sorry, if Mom's got to, be on a Zoom call, or I've got to talk to a client at 8:00, maybe your story has to wait 15 minutes till I'm done.
Yeah.
But my non-negotiables are like, during dinner is dinner with my family. I don't answer my phone. I don't,
right.
That is my time with them, because I want to hear about their day. I want to be focused and completely dialed in on them.
Yeah.
And then once they're all kind of doing their own thing, then it's catch up and do what we need to do.
Well, I think a lot of people don't realize, how involved the process of being a real estate agent is, right? Mm-hmm. All the general public sees is a new listing pops up online, a sign goes on in front of the house, and they think all we do is collect a phone call and, we arrange a showing from there. It's a lot more detailed than that, and it's a very involved process that sometimes starts months in advance, not even days in advance, right? And that can obviously lead to unique challenges, especially when you're as busy as you are. And so what do you think is the biggest unique challenge? Is it that scheduling the dance recital around all of that? Or what do you think your most unique challenge that you've experienced between being a real estate and being a mother and a wife has been? Is there anything that stands out to you?
I would say, for me, it's an appointment. So it's an appointment with my daughter.
Yeah.
So I want to give my clients 100% of my attention when I am with them.
Yep.
I also do the same when I'm with my children. So it is my appointment to be with my daughter for dance next week from 12 to 2.
Right.
And I will get back to you when I can, after my appointment is over.
And I'm the same way. If I go to a curling bonspiel occasionally through the year, not very often, but they're locked into the schedule, and that's an appointment, right? And it's...
Well, but the other thing is, it's like when you've got time in between, you're checking, if you're in the middle of a deal, hey, you know what, great, you know what, you're going to, between when you can, you're going to check your email, you're going to respond to a call, you're going to respond to a text. But, you have to make them both work. Yeah.
We can definitely never be 100% checked out for 100% of a window, right? Like, there are some times where even you've got 95% is focused here, but there's always that little 5% lingering in the background that says, this thing's going on, and we deal with the most important transaction of somebody's life in a very often case. So it's not something that we can just Jesus take the wheel. Yeah. Right? that doesn't work very well, right?
No, but and in saying that, we really want to give our clients our all, right? Yeah. And so, we have to have, like you say, you're never 100% off. We were just at this conference, doing the networking and the workshops and all the educational sessions and all of that. And while we were there, I did 3 deals and 2 Zooms with clients,
Yeah.
setting up appointments for this week, while we were still in the midst of all of the other things going on.
Yeah.
So this job is always about multitasking
Yep.
and having a great team to back you up, right?
Yep.
Being able to go, okay, this is what we got to do here. This is when we're going to fit this in. We're going to respond to that email. So yeah, it's definitely, diverse, but
Yeah.
multitasking and giving as much to what you're focused on at the time is super important.
Yeah. So do you feel like, parenthood, motherhood has led into how you do your business? Has it affected change? Because you didn't start this business as a mother.
No.
You became a mother throughout your
business.
process of your 16 years. So have you noticed that there has been an alteration that has come, maybe not out of necessity, but just by the fact that you are a mother and the rest of your life has changed in such a fundamental way that change has fundamentally also affected your business?
Yeah, I think I relate a lot to families,
Yeah.
right? So I think, a lot of my clients, I deal with a lot of seniors. I deal with a lot of first-time home buyers. I deal with a lot of families. And so, in dealing with my clients with kids, I get it.
Right.
I get how hard it is. I understand what you're going through. And I'm with you. I'm with you in this journey. Like, kids are having a meltdown. We can't book a showing right now, or someone didn't nap and the house is a mess and we got to move it up. Absolutely, that can happen. Or, hey, we've got to work around nap times for showings because we can go from this time to this time to go look at those houses. And I think just understanding what that is,
Yeah.
I think has been really valuable. But also just the great group of networking because of my kids, the things that they're involved in now. I've met new friends, which I maybe wasn't ever going to be in their sphere of influence.
Right.
But because of my kids through their sports and their events, I've actually grown, with that group that I may not have ever had.
Yep.
So I would say it's completely, been influential in a very positive way in my business.
That's awesome. So, having said that there's been change and things like that, do you have maybe tips or advice that you would give to a new parent or somebody who's a parent already and wants to start a business? Or is there maybe something that you wish that you would have known before you had kids that would have made a change in how you adjusted on the fly? Obviously, becoming a parent is nothing but a learning experience. You don't get practice in it until it happens, typically. No matter how much you babysit somebody's kids for an hour, it's not the same as having your own 24 hours a day.
It's not.
So is there any piece of wisdom or advice that you could give to your past self or to somebody who's maybe entering into this situation that you wish you knew earlier?
So the one thing I can say right out of the gate, bring your kids with you. Bring your kids with you to your work. Bring your kids to the business. Because as they grow, they will understand it better. As they grow, they will understand what you have to do to pay for ball and play for dance and all how hard you have to work to get those things for them. The other thing is that, I think setting up those expectations with my clients sooner, like, hey, you know what? And I've learned that over the years, but right out of the gate, you know what? I'm trying to do it all, but my non-negotiables are, no, I don't answer my phone during dinner. And I do try to take one day off with my family completely and basically disconnect as much as I possibly can. And being able to say no, like, I'm sorry, we can't look at that house on Sunday because I've got a day planned with my family. And in the beginning, we just pivoted with that, but we've kind of gone that route. Like, we will make, accommodations if we've got people from out of town or whatever, right? But I try to kind of make it as condensed as possible because I give a lot all day. I'm up at 5:30. I am working. I'm checking emails, responding to things, right, when I'm having my first cup of coffee in the morning. And I go till like 9 o'clock at night, in and amongst sports and everything else and meetings and council and whatever and try to get it all done.
Well, again, I don't have kids, but I can imagine that, at the beginning of that process, there's a nervousness of, especially in our business, where we're almost hunters. You eat what you kill, for lack of a better phrase.
Well,
but
you don't want to let your clients down.
You don't, right? You're again, it's the most important transaction of their life, and you feel like you need to be there, and you don't want to go.
You don't want to say no.
Right, like, can we do this in 2 days because I've just got too much stuff going on, and you go, I'll figure a way to fit you in, right? Mm-hmm. Which, I mean, it's a healthy change, I'm sure, to have made in your life and your business, to be able to kind of set some boundaries. And I'm sure every one of your clients probably respects the fact that you're a mother, you have young children, and you want to spend time with them.
Yeah.
Right? Like, nobody ever gets upset with you when you say, sorry, I don't take your phone calls at dinner time because I'm finding out how my kid's day went.
Exactly. And and the people that are that way, I don't know if they're the right fit for me.
Right.
Because I want to be on the same page as my clients, because this is a team effort with me and my clients. And so I think being on the same page as them is super important right out of the gate.
Yeah.
So managing expectations, and when your clients do have kids, they get it. Hey, it's not the best time to take a phone call while you're trying to cook and you got a screaming kid and someone's cranky and someone's just coming home from work. Not the best time to take a phone call.
Yeah.
So being able to say, okay, hey, I'm going to do what I got to do, give everybody all of my attention for this time, and then I'll be with you as soon as I get everybody settled and sorted.
Yeah.
But that being said, as soon as you have quiet for 5 minutes, someone needs you or needs a snack or something. So, it's been a learning curve, but I took my 4-month-old baby to, I'm part of the Young Leaders Network for RE/MAX Canada. I'm the interior ambassador for all of British Columbia. And so we had our first conference, our Activate conference in Banff. And so it was our first kickoff for our YLN event. And there's me with a 4-month-old baby. Yep. And I went, and I brought my aunt because my mom was working at the time. And she came and kept, Axel busy. And then where I could take him, I brought him with me, and he was passed the baby around, and everybody was loving it. So, I mean, you just make your kids part of the process right from day one. So it's been great.
Good. So, I mean, you've learned a lot through just life, as we all do. But part of our job as realtors is also to actively try and better ourselves. Mm-hmm. And for the last number of years, both you and I have gone to our RE/MAX annual conference, which has been in Vegas every year that we've gone. Yeah. And that's R4. We just got back from it here last Friday.
Yep.
So how important do you think that type of experience, beyond, like, with the networking, with the courses, with enhancing yourself at the opportunity when it presents itself, how do you think that improves you as a person, you as a professional, you as a business?
So when you surround yourself with the best or better than you, somehow by osmosis, you just become better.
Yep.
So when you go to R4 or Activate, so Activate's happening in October in Halifax, which is the Canadian National Conference for RE/MAX. When you go to these things, you're surrounded by the best realtors in the world that work for RE/MAX. We met people from Italy, from Grand Cayman Islands, all across the United States, from, Bolivia, from Uruguay, Australia. I mean, so you are connecting with the best in the business, and they are not in your market.
Yeah.
So what are they doing to get their clients? What kind of tips and tricks can you pick up from someone else doing something different?
Yeah.
Right? And it just sparks some sort of something in you, and you're like, wow, that's a really cool way that you did that video.
Yeah.
Or, hey, I really like how you did that presentation. Or, how do you work with this? And they're not your competition. They want to help you.
Yeah.
The best and the best want to help other people be better.
Yeah.
So it's incredible, just the people you surround yourself with.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Well, and I found it, like, I went to a course, it was a panel, 3 different realtors from all over the world, and the one I found most interesting was he's the number 1 RE/MAX realtor outside of the United States. He's number 2 RE/MAX realtor in the world.
Wow.
But like that's impressive in itself. What I found more impressive is just the difference in how they have to conduct business. Right? His annual or his average sale price is $10 million is what he sells. So the property is worth $10 million. We can't even fathom what a $10 million property looks like. But because of where he lives in the country that he is, they don't have the lawyers to help them. They don't have all of the different hoops and stuff. He does $10 million average price, all cash sales, and his office basically takes care of transferring land title. He sits two parties at the side of the table, slides the cashier one check one way and slides the land title the other way for transfer of ownership. Like, and it's so interesting, and you can learn so much from a different perspective that we would never even consider. The thought process of somebody buying a $10 million cash property and us having to take care of the entire process would never even strike us because of the market that we work and live in. Right? And so being able to for a moment have a conversation with someone who sees something from a completely different, opposite, unique perspective can add so much to how you can come back and operate in your business to go, maybe I'm missing something here because somebody's able to do X, Y, Z and I'm only doing A, B, C. Right? Like they're just two completely different spectrums. Well, how do we get to the stuff in the middle that maybe both sides can grow from?
Right. Well, and it's funny you mentioned that. So here's a perfect example. I had met a realtor last year from Honolulu. And so we ended up going to Hawaii last year. And it was great. And we stayed at this one resort. And so I ran into him again this year. And I said, well, there's like 20 people that go every year from our little community in Trail, BC. And they stay at this one resort in Hawaii. And he says, Tia, my friend owns 3 units there. Next time they go, let me know. And he's like, I do property management, so I will take care of them and get them a better deal of anywhere else. Well, that's a referral for me to someone in Hawaii.
Yeah.
But then that proceeded him to say he wants to start doing some training and would be interested in having me come over, putting me up in one of these condos, my family and I, and me doing training with his staff. I mean, how incredible is that? What an opportunity.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there is just, stuff like that. Or commercial realtors, there's some fabulous commercial realtors that were there. And we don't do a ton of commercial.
Yeah.
But just being able to tap into their network saying, hey, I've got these opportunities.
Yeah.
What do you think? Can you give me some advice? What should I do? How should I market this? How would you market this in your bigger center compared to our smaller town?
Well, and it also gives, back almost to the city side of things and the expansion of trail, it now gives you a resource to tap into that maybe somebody who never would have come and found trail on a map, you now have a direct link to that person, and maybe there's a perfect fit between that world and our world, and we're able to connect that through the facilitation of going to these events.
So funny story, I had a gal reach out for me from South Carolina who had seen me on the R4 Hustle thing, knew that I was from BC, and she sent me an email. Her clients are moving from Kootenay, BC to South Carolina. Clearly she had no idea the proximity, but she reached out saying, hey, is there any advice you can give? Like, how can we help? How can we make this happen? I explained to her that I didn't live anywhere near there. But fun fact is I actually went to elementary school in Courtenay and grew up on the island. So she couldn't believe it, but just how small, I would have never have met her. Right? From South Carolina. Like, how is that? But that's how this thing grows. And, the referrals that come out of it, or people that, cheer you on. Like, there is a group that, of people that I've met from Toronto, from Edmonton, from Hamilton, people that you just are like, okay, hey, if I've got a referral, I got a person. And so now it's just incredible. Like, you want to buy a condo in Florida? I got a guy. You want to buy a condo in, I got a girl. You have people now all over the world. The group that we met from Italy, like, they were amazing. They couldn't believe, like, the amount of Italian heritage in Trail, BC. The girls, like, send me your card and send me information. Like, I can't wait to hear about your town, right? So what a cool experience and promotion for our city. To all of the world.
And it's a cool interaction. I know last year when I went, I got information and was chatting with the realtor from down in like New Orleans, and they got the swamps and everything there. And it was, well, if you ever come in our way, contact us and we're going to take you on an airboat thing of see some gators, right? Like, and it's just the cool interactions that you get to have with all sorts of people. So, I mean, the interactions are great. The other side of this convention that we go to is the actual like sit down courses where you learn about all sorts of things. You get the unique benefit of being able to be in 3 places at once because you have two little helpers there that your assistants who get to kind of split off from you and go to different courses.
Yes.
Right? So, I mean, I'm one person. I only get to go to one thing at a time. You get to go to 3 things at a time. So you obviously see more. So is there anything that the courses are great across the board, and they range from everything from AI to marketing to, I mean, just panels of people giving their insight and how they do business. But is there any trends, any information, anything super cool that you and your group kind of have come back now and compiled and said, this is something that we didn't really notice before, but this is super cool for real estate and that we can bring back to the trail market to really enhance?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm not going to give the secret sauce out to everybody.
Yeah, you know.
But you know what? I will say, you know, just the advancement of AI and really the cool things that can be done with it for streamlining processes, simplifying things, follow-up, video. I mean, all of those things are just, you know, leaps and bounds ahead of where we were a couple years ago.
Totally.
And they're going beyond. So I would say, you know, if you see anything, you're just going to see more stuff that's just going to be automated, which, I mean, it's just the repetitive type things that, you know, different templates, different, you know, kind of setups.
Yeah, it doesn't change how we do business because, I mean, the most important of our part of our job is the connection with our clients.
Right, the human,
if you don't
emotion.
connect with the client, if you don't find out what they're truly looking for, you can send them listings till you're blue in the face, until your fingers fall off. They're not going to buy anything. Right? You gotta really connect with them and get to know them, what they're looking for, what they need, right? What actually fits their requirements in their lives. That an AI or a technology piece is never going to solve that for them. Right? So it's good to know that, I mean, who you pick as your realtor is still always going to be the most important thing. But it's great that we now have this cool tool that can help us expedite the process and do it better than we've been doing it before. Well,
yeah, I mean, yes, you know, who you pick is important. What did we learn down there? 47% of all realtors sold no homes last year.
Yep.
Right? So, I mean, if you've got a realtor that's doing a great job, you know, they're the top producers are the top producers for a reason. People do a lot of business with them because they do a lot of business, right? They know about all the things that are happening and they know about things coming up and down the pipe. But, you know, being able to have a great agent to take care of you is super important, which AI, like you said, will never replace. They're never going to give you advice on a house when they're not looking at it, right? So, ChatGPT can do it all. Anyways, no, I think, you know, having so many opportunities, you know, just learning from different things, different people, I think is the biggest takeaway. Yeah.
So, I mean, I'll let you keep the secret sauce and not ask you what and how you're implementing stuff in. But, like, you meet all sorts of cool people and you get these good ideas and I mean there are things that I'm going to implement in my business because I talked to a specific individual or I got to see something in a specific course. For you, what do you think like the most inspirational moments, the biggest takeaways you got from going to this conference this year for yourself?
Well, you know, because of my role with the Young Leaders Network, I know the, you know, RE/MAX Canada, kind of the Western Canada group quite well. And so it was really nice to see them because there's people from back east that are part of our group, our YLN group. And then actually spending some time, you know, at an event with, you know, the CEO of RE/MAX LLC. Abby, who's the head of marketing for RE/MAX LLC, Josh, who's the vice president for franchise for LLC, you know, and I think the most significant moment was having, you know, the president of RE/MAX Canada congratulate me in person on my Special Services Award, which recognized my commitment to real estate. So with the training and dedication and whatnot I've been participating in and helping with, but also my commitment to my community. And I think that was the moment for me that solidified that there is absolutely no conflicts, no concerns with being a top producing realtor and a city councillor. And that was the moment of like, wow.
Yeah, the moment of inner peace that just washes over you, going,
Totally.
I made the right call.
Totally.
Right? When everyone else told me that I probably shouldn't do it, and you're like,
Are you crazy?
You know what? I'm gonna try it. We're gonna see how it goes, and we'll wing it from there.
I'm in for 4 years. Well, I guess it might be longer than that. I'm in. No, it was really significant, and I think just the people with corporate was just unreal. Knowing them all by name, I think was pretty incredible.
Yep.
And then knowing who I was by name, right? They're like, oh, weren't you the Remax Canada? And I'm like, yeah. You've never met me before. You're from Denver, Colorado.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
But then just some of the realtors that, I ran into a gal I had met last year, and she saw me walking down the hallway, and, we hadn't seen each other in a year, and she just like ran up and gave me a huge hug. And she's from South California. And she's like, was just so excited to see me again, and wanted to know what dress I was wearing to the gala.
Yeah.
And it was funny because we had met over that the year before, and so it was just like those moments of like, you have a tribe and you have a group of cheerleaders cheering you on from around the world because of these relationships you've built.
Yeah.
There is no greater moment than just knowing that you have this group of people and family with the Remax family that you can reach out to.
Yeah.
And they're absolutely willing to help you.
Yeah.
At any time.
Well, the easiest way to achieve greatness is to surround yourself with people who are great.
Right.
Right? And I think that, obviously we do a lot of business in our community, and being able to connect with those people who do a lot of business across the world is only going to make us better as a whole.
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
So it's definitely positive. I know that you guys got to stay out late and enjoy some party time at the fancy foundation room there and stuff like that.
Oh gosh!
I was in bed and you guys were out having a good time.
Multitasking,
Yeah.
Lots. But you know what? That was where it was really cool. We met the broker owner for the Grand Cayman Islands. We met the group from Italy.
Yep.
Syracuse, there's just so many incredible groups that I might not have ever connected with.
Right.
And so that was where those stories were like, hey, now we've got these new connections of places and people in these different areas. So they've come from the after work networking per se, right?
Yeah.
So
it's definitely, it's important to taking the whole experience when you do an event like that, where, you really, it's more than just the courses, right? Images on screen and notes that you take will only get you so far. It's having those connections and somebody that, it's something that you're going to continue to grow. You can reach out to one of your contacts or all of your contacts about specific things when they come up, and just, right, you've got that, like you said, the cheerleader group, which is, I think, great for you as a business, but it's also great for all of us who went this year, that we were able to make different connections in that way that were unique to all of us.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
So, and we all do it differently, right?
Exactly.
You guys were very course heavy and also a lot of networking. Myself, I was focusing on different items, on video things, on things like that, and I made connections in that realm.
Well,
right?
And then the golf thing you did.
Yeah,
I
made sure I went to the new mini golf course that's in the Mandalay Bay, and went with, I don't know, it was with me in Vegas this year. 7 girls in our group and me. So
Thank you, Nathan, for taking care of us.
Yes, I got to go and take care of all the girls there. But then I went to this mini golfing group, and we decided to level it up because there was 12 of us there and 11 of them were women. So that was my year in Vegas.
Worst problems to have,
right?
Nathan.
I know, it's rough. Just surrounding me with women the whole time I was there.
You know what? And
life's rough.
For those of you that don't know Nathan, I can tell you he is like the best guy, just like the most solid dude that's willing to help everybody. Whether as a realtor, we're dealing with, technology issues, we need a hand showing something, whether you're in Vegas and he's carrying your shopping bag. Nathan is just the solidest guy. So I just want to say it was a great experience. Thank you so much, for being part of it with us down in Vegas, and keeping everybody on track and keep everybody
tag along.
everybody.
And I'm glad that everybody got their Remax awards and the special office awards.
Yes.
So I'm not going to go into what awards we handed out, but if you have a Remax realtor who went to Vegas to the R4 convention this year, ask them about their award from the office, because they've got a funny story to tell you.
I love it. It was a great surprise.
That's all I've got for our conversation today. I know you've got appointments. I've got some stuff I've got to jump into. So it was great to have you. I'm glad we sat down and did this, and hopefully you'll come on again in the future.
You know what? Anytime we've got some new and exciting stuff going on with the city or new events, I would love to, because I think it's really important to try to get as much information out to as much of your kind of community as possible.
Yep.
So as things change and things are happening, I would absolutely love to do this.
Well, you're always welcome back. We can always do an afternoon one where we throw a little something special in the slushing machine too.
I'll stick with just the juice.
just the juice. But yeah.
Okay.
So
thank you, Nathan.
Thanks, T. And again, as always, if you're watching the podcast and have gotten this far, if you have ideas for a guest you would like to see on here, if you have questions that you'd like us to tackle on the podcast, feel free to send a comment or reach out to the email address for the Home and Beyond channel. And I'm happy to get back to you and see if we can make that work. So until next time, thanks for watching.
Bye, everybody.